do you start with this process? Because I'm sure if there's any realtors watching this today, or just people in general watching, some people are kind of putting the cart before the horse. Is that right?
Yeah.
The cart before the horse. They're going out and looking at homes, but they really don't know how much they're approved for, and they're making assumptions based on their salary. But there's so much more that goes into it: your credit, your debt to income ratio. There's so much to take into consideration. So let's talk a little bit about people who are starting to think about it. When is the right time to talk to a lender? What is the process? How do they get started? Should they talk to a lender before they even speak to a realtor? These are all things I think are important.
Yeah, I mean, today, before I came here, I spoke with a wonderful couple. It was their first time buying a home, and they said, we came to you first. You know, we haven't talked to a real estate agent yet. We wanted to get our financial ducks in a row and make sure that we're comfortable with what those numbers are. And I think that's a great move, because if you do talk to a real estate agent first, which is what happens a lot of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The realtor is going to say, okay, you need to talk to a lender, right? Because the realtor can't really do their job well unless they know what purchase price is, what area, you know, what do the financial picture look like, so I know what homes to send to you and what homes to take you to.
Right.
So, you know, the first step is to talk to a lender and find out, what can we do. A lot of times your comfort level is a different number from what you actually qualify for.
Right.
Oftentimes you qualify much higher than what your comfort level is. So that's always a question I ask. What is your max comfort level for your monthly payment? And we're looking at three things: credit, income, and assets. So
what about debt?
Well, that's part of the credit. So the debt is going to be on the credit, and then we add in your house payment in with that. So, so you know, I always tell everybody too, if anything changes with your income or anything changes with your debts, it's always a good idea. You could be shopping for a home for a week, or you could be shopping for a home for 6 months, and you're living your life during that time, right? So anything could come up, and you know, that always want to give me a call and make sure that we're staying on the same page as far as that goes, so that you're still on the track to reach your goals.
Yeah. And so about how long does it take for say somebody feels like they're ready to get started, they want to buy a home, and they call you. How long does it take before they're pre-approved or have gone through the process to be pre-approved?
So, I mean, I could do a pre-approval in an hour, or depending on the situation of the person, sometimes it takes a little longer if they're self-employed, if there's variable income, if they're dealing with some kind of debt that needs to be resolved. So it really just is case by case. If they're pretty straightforward as far as being on a base annual salary, and they have the assets for settlement, and they have, you know, decent credit, I could turn it around in an hour.
And Sarah, I really want to point out here that I've spoken to people who have said, I am planning to buy a house in the future, but I'm not at a point financially where I can do that yet. I have some debt to pay off. I have some things to do. And I don't care if they're a year out. I always recommend that they talk to a lender now, because they might be making assumptions that are incorrect, and waiting too long, or not doing the right things while they're paying things off or doing certain things. So I don't think that there's really, if you know that you're going to buy a house in the future,
there's no downside. There's no downside to getting information and talking to somebody. We can do a soft credit pool, so it doesn't have to hit your credit.
It doesn't hurt your credit.
But knowledge is power, right? So, you know, I can run numbers and show somebody numbers for something, and at least then they know, okay, this is what my monthly payment's going to be. Here's how much money I need to work on saving. And I can help advise as far as the credit goes if there's challenges there, you know, and then you're finding out, before you do the wrong thing, you're finding out, okay, what are the right things? What should I pay down or pay off? And, you know, how to get yourself where you want to be.